For today's video, I'm going to be doing one of my everyday looks with my big wings, including lip gloss, and showing you how I put in my extensions. So I'm going to start with my Milk Primer. I like this one because it's pretty moisturizing. For a while, I was using the NYX Spray Primer. It was okay. I feel like this one helps your foundation stick better. I dyed my friend's hair last night, and when I washed it out, my hands turned bright blue, so just ignore that. They look disgusting. I'm going to be using my Kat Von D foundation. When I first started doing makeup, I was obsessed with that first one that she had out, the one that was like super cakey. But yeah, that's all I would use, and since seeing this one, I thought I'd try it since I loved the other one so much. And I'm always trying new foundations. Oops, that's kind of way too much, but it's fine. I am shade Light 10. I'm gonna use my beauty blender. When I first bought this foundation, I was applying it with a brush because I used to just really like applying my foundation with a brush instead of a makeup sponge. I don't know why, because I feel like sponges work way better, but I also feel like they suck up a lot of foundation. And I really didn't like this foundation, but then I started using this and it applies a lot smoother, and I found I like it a lot better, and it matches me pretty well. I know that's always usually a struggle. And I usually just try to go around my piercings for the most part, or go right over them, because then I just take a little bit of alcohol and just clean them off later, so it's fine. And then I'm gonna do concealer. I use the NYX one. I'm shade Light Ivory. I almost try to go a tiny bit lighter with my concealer, just so I can really highlight with it. It's running out. I need more so bad. And I don't use eye primer a lot just because it depends on what look I'm doing. For this one, I'm mostly going to be covering my lid with liner, with liquid liner. So I don't feel like I need to prime my eyelids for that. I feel like it would kind of be a waste, and I'm not wanting it to stay for like I'm going to a show or something where I need it to last super long. So I just go right over my eyelids with my foundation, and my concealer is kind of a base. And when I do my whole face first, I usually do my full face first. I don't do eyes first that often, but I set the whole thing with setting spray. I've been liking the dewy finish lately, so I do that. It's the NYX one. Love most things NYX brand. Let that dry. So for contouring, I'm going to be using this. It's the little to-go one. I don't know why I always get a lot of breath when I do videos. I'm not like doing anything. And I'm going to use my NYX brush. My NYX brush. I'm going to sort of get like the shape, like the angle that I want first before I blend it out. And I like my contour pretty dark. For nose contour, smaller the brush the better. I usually use this brush. It's not the smallest, but it works for me. And I like to start off really light with my nose contour, because once you make that too dark, it's kind of harder to blend out and get rid of it or make it lighter. So I'm gonna go in lightly. So this eye look has pretty much been an everyday one for me lately. My everyday looks kind of vary. I'll get stuck on certain eye looks and just go with it. For liner, I'm going to be using my favorite NYX liquid liner. And I'm going to start at kind of the angle I want my wing to go. I'm going to do big boys today, so I'm going to start way over here. So that's like the angle that I want my wing at. And then I'm gonna connect it to the other corner of my eye. Like that. And just get the basic shape before I fill it in. My earring is caught on my shirt. So get like the nice shape that you want, and then fill it in. It doesn't have to be perfect. I usually leave mine patchy because I pack black eyeshadow over it to set it and also make it darker. So it doesn't have to be perfect. I'm gonna let that dry and do the other side. So sometimes I do it the opposite way. I'll start at the corner and drag it up to the angle that I want. It's weird. Like with the right side of my face, I do it the other way, and then the left side I do I don't know why. I do things weird. But whatever way works best for you. Ooh, yeah, this one is not coming out very well. And there goes my brush. There we go. Okay, so the right side is dry now for the most part. If you try packing eyeshadow over it while it's still wet, it might pick it back up onto the brush instead of packing on over it. So that's why I wait for it to dry for the most part. And then I use a brush. I don't know why there's fuzz all over my brushes. I use a brush that's kind of wide and thick so I can really pack it on. And I use Urban Decay Black. My first ever makeup palette was Naked 2 Urban Decay, and the black was just my favorite. It was so dark and I loved it, so now I just buy the single shade of it. We just want to pack it over and fill in all the patchy spots. If you get any fallout, just use a big fluffy brush to kind of lightly sweep it away. I tap off a lot of it first so that way I don't get a ton, but it's gonna happen either way. But I'm still gonna continue to do my whole face first. I feel like doing my face first makes a good base for everything going on top of it. Then before I go any further on the top, I'm gonna do the bottom. So for the bottom, I don't like doing the liquid right away. It makes the line too straight and like neat. So I'm gonna use, I need a new one of these too, but I'm gonna use just a pencil liner. This one's an e.l.f. one. And it makes it more smudgy when you use a pencil one and not so perfect. So I'm gonna do that first on the bottom. And I like the pencil because you can kind of smear it and blend it out too. Like that. And then I'm gonna take a smaller, like, rounder brush with my black eyeshadow again and go back in and kind of smudge it out. I put the pigment just on the tip of it. And blend it out. And do the same on the other eye. And then I'm going to do more eyeshadow on the top. So I'm going to go back with a little bit bigger, rounder brush than I used for the bottom. And I'm going to kind of build it off of my liner and kind of make it blend out. So kind of how the bottom looks. I'm just going to kind of follow the line, that top line, pack it in there so it blends right in so you can't see where the seam is, and then blend that out so it kind of fades out. And then sometimes I'll go back in with a clean, it's kind of fluffy, but it's my favorite brush to blend out with. I'll go in with one of these just to kind of blend it more without the pigment on there. That way it doesn't go further than you want it to, and it kind of stops where you want with that little blend. And I'm going to do the same on the other side. Blend that out. And then I like doing the inner corners. So I'm going to go back in with my eyeliner and get those. And I'm going to start where I want it to end and drag it in. And then fill it in. And then just to darken it up a little, I'll go over the bottom line. Like that. For eyebrows, I did switch from my ABH back to the Kat Von D one. I like hers because it's very dark. I'm going to take a teeny tiny eyeliner brush to do my brows, and I want them super thin and light. So I like to start over here. I go over it a couple times just to make it darker. For doing the ends, to get that shape, I hold the brush down here. That way I can really kind of wisp it, I guess. I'm bad with words. And then for doing the ends, for really darkening it, I'll hold the brush closer so I have more control over it. That way I don't, when I go over it, I don't make it wider. I'm gonna hold the mirror away from me, hold the brush like near the end, and mostly look at this one while I'm doing this one. And I'm also gonna set my face again, now that everything else is on there. And then I really like the Essence mascaras. I like the Princess Lash one the best, but I'm just trying to finish this one first before I buy the other one again. But I tried this one, it's okay. And they're cheap and they work really well. So I'm gonna put a little bit of that on. I'm gonna put lashes though. So I'm only gonna put a little bit of this just to make them darker. But I'm mostly gonna put it on the bottom. I got a mini set of the KVD new, I think it's a gloss. I've only used them like once, like a few months ago when I got them. So a lot of times I will also use my pencil liner as a lip liner. So I'm gonna do that today. I just like to go right above the natural shape of my lips. And for the bottom, I go right along the actual line of my lips. And I'm gonna slightly fill in the corners. Like that. So there's a little bit of like a shadow. And then I'm gonna go over it with my gloss, like right over the lines. These smell really good too. That. And next I'm gonna do lashes. I think I just have some Ardell ones. I can't remember what they are. I like them thicker than this, but this is all I have right now. So I'm gonna put it on about this thick, making sure I really get the corners, because when those corners dry, it's just annoying. And then I'm gonna wait a good amount on this till it's almost dry. Not like dry, but like until it's sticky. That way they can really stick and I won't get the super wet glue into my eyeball and have my eyes water and ruin everything like that usually happens. So I waited a couple minutes and I like to kind of make sure they're really curved and not straight so they fit my eye better. And I lightly set it to where I want it before completely sticking it down. Once I have it where I want it, I'm gonna lightly press down to both sides in the middle and kind of press it into my eyelashes. And make sure that I really press the corners in there too, because that's usually where they pop off first. next I'm going to show how I put in my extensions. So I usually take the 2 longest ones with the 4 clips. So I take one and put it in the back. And I clip the ends first, and then I clip the middle. Like that. And I put the other one right above it. I section out a layer of my hair so there's a thin layer in between the 2. And clip the ends first. And then the 2 middle ones. And then I take the ones that have the 2 and I section out the very top, like the very, very top, and just leave a little layer of hair over it. And do the same with the other side. So do like the very top, like that. I have a lot of little short layers, so I try to blend it the best I can. And I take the one with the 3 clips and do it, I take a little bit thicker layer between that very top part and the middle. And I do it there. Same on the other side. This is also, I had the side of my head shaved for a while. The last time I shaved it was, I think, in August. So that's as much as it's grown out. So it's very uneven, but it's finally long enough that I can clip my extensions to it. So I like to blend that into there so you don't see it. And then I have 4 little single pieces. So those I kind of blend around the very front and kind of the back, just wherever I feel like there's holes. So I'll do one closest to my face over here, so it kind of brings that together. And then I do one on the other side, kind of in the same spot, but where those shorter pieces are from my side shave growing out, to blend that in more. And then usually right around here I'll do one. And you don't want to do it too far away from the other chunks of them so it doesn't look spacey. You want to do it kind of close to the other ones. So I'm going to do the other one like in this back corner. Like that.